guys? Welcome to the URBONUS podcast. We had a short warm-up with August discussing some stuff, and now we get to the official part of the podcast where we say hello and we say thank you for listening and supporting us. And we have a lot of interesting topics to cover because we're kind of midway through the regular season, and the second part of the season already started. But first of all, of course, I want your reactions to the Clasico game. Yesterday, Real Madrid lost their second game of the season. They played away in Palau Blaugrana. The atmosphere was fantastic. Barcelona fans were really up for it. And Barca took the W. Just in the recent weeks, there were a lot of rumors about Roger Grimau and that maybe he's on a hot seat because they lost some games, down 20 in Monaco, down 20 in Malaga. So this was a huge win for Barcelona. What are your takes about this game? What do you think Barca did right to finally beat Real Madrid?
I liked your picture that you sent us to the group chat after the game without even seeing it. It was Roger Grimau's face, and the name was Masterclass.
Yeah,
you guessed it without even watching the game, actually.
Yeah, because I was working with football at the time. But yeah, that's I would say a pretty popular meme in football context, like because they have this coach's voice thing, and they do a segment where a coach explains with a tactical board how he won some important game. And they present it with let's say that head coach's photo and saying that's like Jose Mourinho's masterclass. So I just photoshopped Roger Grimau's face on it and written Roger Grimau's masterclass. I think I used it for the first time when they beat Partizan in Stark Arena, and now they win the El Clasico game. A huge win for them. So please continue.
So the masterclass was basically, I would highlight, probably three things. First of all, Grimau started with a big ball lineup where Satoransky was the point guard and Kalinic was used at the 2, Jabari at the 3, Da Silva at the 4, and Vesely at the 5.
That's a lot of size.
And Da Silva was even guarding Campazzo to start. And with this big lineup, they were switching everything. So like negating Real Madrid's early opportunities. And basically, it kind of clamped, Real Madrid's offense. And it actually forced them to use ISO basketball, look for Tavares in the post. But even, with switching, Tavares got his first field goal only in the third quarter. So it actually worked because you have so much size. So after you switch, you can front. Your size allows to cover the passing lanes and all that stuff. So it was really efficient. So that was the first thing. And, Vesely scored 28 points against the best defense in the league. And he's playing amazingly. But how he did it. So in the first half, it was, since you have all these big players, they were trying to post up either Campazzo or either other smaller guards. And Vesely would kind of wait not in the dunker spot, but would wait near the free throw line. And when Tavares just goes one step to help, there's a quick pass, he's shooting the mid-range. And he's shooting that mid-range like he's automatic. I looked up the percentages.
Great touch.
I looked up the percentages. He's better from the short mid-range than he's actually on the layups.
Wow.
Like his percentages from there, I think it's like 65 from that short mid-range. And 55 or 57 from layups. And to me, that's just incredible. And Blaugrana's atmosphere did a lot, for sure. It helped tremendously. If this game was probably at the Vysniauskas Center, probably Real Madrid even takes it without Dek and Yabusele still recovering from injuries. But this big lineup was a big key for Roger Grimau to winning this game. I thought they did a great job defensively. And offensively, they were just fighting, hustling, getting some 50-50 balls, making some three-pointers, early frees, like they enjoy doing this season, Jabari, La Provitola. So great game by Barcelona. And if there were any rumors before this game about Roger Grimau. I don't know how true they are. Because to me,
Navarro declined everything.
Navarro declined it, and to me, it seems just complete bullshit that, a new coach that's who is in the third place in the standings in this super competitive EuroLeague, after losing the best player on the roster, doing an amazing job, and he's about to get fired. Yeah, okay, Barcelona was in a slump, but after this game, this is out of the question.
That's what I wanted to address, actually. As you said, I didn't really see the game, so I'm not gonna comment on the game. But I wanted to address this whole Roger Grimau being fired rumors. And I feel that some people have a strong opinion, like that Barcelona should do it. Like they should bring in some more experienced coach. Like Itudis is available right now, or maybe they should try to get Xavi Pascual back to Barcelona. And what I don't like about this is we hear people complaining about how hard it is for a new coach to get into the EuroLeague circle. Mm-hmm. And people are complaining that it's all the same faces. Rarely some new faces get in, and usually all these older coaches get the job. And now all of a sudden you have a young coach who gets this big opportunity to coach his hometown club. He's a Catalan. He's from Barcelona. He played there, and now he gets this big opportunity. And he loses a couple of games. Okay, they lost by 20. Maybe they lost in a bad manner, some of those games, like in Malaga or in Monaco. And now you want him fired, immediately. They're third in the EuroLeague standings. They're just one win behind Virtus Bologna, and we're saying that Luka Banchi is the coach of the year. Okay, they're third in Liga Endesa. They lost some games. It's not perfect, but it's not that bad. Not so long ago, 4 or 5 years ago, Barcelona couldn't even get to the EuroLeague playoffs, and now you want to fire a coach who's third in the regular season. So if you're building a new project with a young coach, you need some patience. You will face some let's say adversities, and you might lose some games. Okay, maybe some of their new signings are not delivering so far. But also we can see some good things that the coach is doing, and that the players are performing, like Vesely, Laprovitola, and some others. So I just want to say, let the man work. Let him do his job, and that's it.
Let him cook.
Yeah.
I'm completely with you on this. It's just, to me, it sounds absolute nonsense that Barcelona would release Grimau after such a first half of the season, and now this game, they looked amazing, even though their biggest signing of the summer, Vili, was kind of, exposed again on the defensive side. And they're still finding ways to win basketball games. And Kalinic was great. They had 14 offensive rebounds. So everything, just really great game from Roger Grimau.
And actually, our colleague Donatas is not here with us today because he's in Barcelona. He was there to do some interviews. I already saw a part of the interview with Jabari Parker. It's great content, actually. I can recommend it. And obviously, Donatas will share some insights from Barcelona once he gets back. So I think that's enough about El Clasico. Big win for Barca.
Yep.
What should we talk about next? Coach Trinchieri.
I think Coach Trinchieri and his, I don't know, Zalgiris win and
Italo Disco. What's that song?
Yeah,
I don't know the song, man. But it all of a sudden got popular.
You don't know the song?
I don't.
It's like it's number one in Lithuania for a couple of months already.
I listened to 90s and 00s hip hop. How would I know Italo Disco?
See, that's why Trinchieri showed the song.
Yeah, he actually played the song in the press conference.
That was such a cool moment. I don't know.
I would say I felt a lot of positive energy from him. When Zalgiris signed Trinchieri, some people were kind of afraid that he's gonna step in with some of his, let's say, not only charisma but also arrogance, and he's gonna change the culture completely. But actually, his press conference, his comments about the game, everything was super positive. After being in Kaunas for 24, 26 hours, he already had a EuroLeague game. It was very important for them to beat Alba Berlin, to get the win It doesn't matter whether they played good or bad. They just needed that win desperately.
They didn't play good.
They didn't play good. Yeah, let's admit that. Although we saw some new interesting things. I wouldn't say like he brought some new systems or sets because he didn't have any time for that. It's not possible. He's facing a double game week, then another double game week, and there's a Lithuania League game on Sunday, I think. So there's no time for practice. There's no time to add some new stuff to their game, but he has his own ideas how the team should play. He knows the roster, and we didn't see Žalgiris playing with 3 guards this season at all. Lukas Lekavičius was their like 12th man on that roster, and now there's a new coach, and he's becoming a game changer. He changed the flow of the game, so it just shows you, as you written in Facebook, I think, how a player might look much better in a different situation with a different head coach when the previous coach maybe didn't see him in his plans at all. And Lekavičius was amazing. And they played with 3 guards. They played with Evans and Lekavičius and Hollins in the same lineup. So the rotations seem to be different immediately. So that was an interesting thing. Other than that, of course, they just needed the win.
Change much.
They just needed the win.
They needed a win badly, and that press conference wouldn't have been so fun if they had lost, that game. But I'm glad they finally got the win after 5 or 6 losses in a row in the EuroLeague. And I am kind of glad for Lukas Lekavičius because I think he's the guy that can help Žalgiris really. Kazys Maksvytis, the previous coach, preferred Dovydas Giedraitis because of his defense.
Yeah,
but I think he lacks size to be a great defender in the EuroLeague. He was usually put on the best perimeter guard, whether that's Mike James, Kevin Punter, but
that's mainly because Butkevičius was out.
Right. But he's still out, and we see now Lukas Lekavičius, like Trinchieri is choosing offense of Lekavičius over the defense of Giedraitis, and I think to me that's a smart move because Žalgiris really lack guards that can penetrate inside the paint and then create some kind of attract the defense and then start to swing the ball from inside to outside and create advantage in this way. It's been all of either Keenan Evans or Ulanovas or Schmitz trying to post up, some pick and pops, and they were really lacking offensive versatility. And I think Lekavičius can bring you that.
Yeah, he adds that spark.
Another option. Yeah,
he's a different player. He changes the flow of the game. I think Trinchieri said it himself, and I was so happy to hear that he remembered the Bamberg days where Lekavičius played the game of his career, and he actually killed Bamberg that night. And Trinchieri said like he was killing us, and I just put Daniel Tice on him, and he's still
scoring.
He was still scoring. And then I was thinking about Trinchieri playing with 3 guards, and I actually remember that Bamberg team. It was a great team to watch. He used to play with Zizic, Strelnieks, and Wanamaker in the same lineup, closing games, playing the fourth quarter with 3 guards, 3 playmakers, 3 players who can create. So I think that's what we can expect in Kaunas. Immediately, it seems to me like they become less dependent on Keenan Evans playing ISO. He's becoming more of a 2-guard. He plays a bit more off-ball with Lekavičius in those lineups. So right now, I think what Trinchieri is trying to do is to figure out the best position for every player, to put them in the best role and to try win games, because there's no time to create a new system. There's no time to add a lot of sets and change defensive schemes. So I liked what I saw from the first game. Okay, maybe it's good for the new coach to start the new year playing with Alba Berlin at home. You can win without even playing very good basketball. Although they took 20 threes in the first half. That's a huge number. Every opportunity they got, they were shooting. Like every time there's an open shot, they're taking it. In the second half, it was a bit different. I'm curious to see how they will approach this game in Villeurbanne, a different opponent. Also a team that we're hearing rumors about changing coaches once again, which is crazy. Like Pacheco lost some games by a point or 2 points by a shot versus Madrid, versus Bayern Munich, and now there are these talks, but it will be an interesting game.
Just to finish up about Zalgiris, a couple of points. I think with Lucas in the roster, Evans is also... Trinchieri is trying to save up Evans' energy to finish the games. So I think that could help. Playing Lucas could help Evans in some kind of way. And the other point you mentioned was about playing the free guards.
Yeah.
And this is also basically a move all about offense, all about having better spacing. And what was the last point you made?
About him like putting players in their best positions.
Putting players... I just
figuring out all the roles of the players.
I just forgot another point I wanted to add. But
taking 20 frees.
20 frees, yeah. Against in the game against Alba, the first round, they were kind of hesitating, against this kind of weird defense of Alba, and I was like, was this Trinchieri's idea to just if you have an opportunity, just shoot it, don't hesitate, because if you remember in the end of that game, Roland Schmitz didn't take a free, drove to the rim, kind of got fouled there, but turned the ball over, and it was one of the main situations in that game.
That game in Berlin, right?
The game in Berlin, and there were a lot of instances like this. And when I saw Thomas Dimsha get the offensive rebound, dribble to the corner, turn around and shoot a free immediately, I'm like, okay, this was probably emphasized in the locker room before the game. So that was my couple thoughts. And another thing probably we kind of need to mention is Nikola Topic debuting for Crvena Zvezda against Fenerbahce. We talked about in the before this episode, or at the start of this episode, we talked about how young guys don't really get a chance in the EuroLeague. So with Nikola Topic in, we are finally getting a chance to see a prospect that probably will be in the NBA. Next year.
I think it's a no-brainer to say that he's a lottery pick.
Yeah, he's playing for Mega in the ABA League, being top 5, even top 2 in points and assists categories. He has moved up in the draft rankings from like 20th to 30th spot to top 5. And I'm not sure how playing in the EuroLeague is going to help him, but I like the fact that he already played 19 minutes in his first game. He started, and he had the ball in his hands for quite some time. So it was a calm for game one for him, because he was looking for his older teammates more. But he said it himself. It is my dream to play for Zvezda. It is my dream to share the floor with Miloš Teodosic, and I cannot wait to debut in the EuroLeague, and who knows, maybe it's his chance to play here for half a year before having a long NBA career. So I'm just glad to see him, and I'm really interested to see Crvena Zvezda games because of not only Teodosic, but now also because of this prospect.
Teodosic just makes Bolon Boy a superstar.
Teodosic is earning Bolon Boy loads of money for next season. Like they should,
and don't get me wrong, Bolon Boy is a good player.
Yeah, amazing.
But having a magician point guard like Teodosic just makes you look so much better. You get so many easy layups and dunks. And they just beat Sharas and Fenerbahce. First loss for Sharas.
Away.
So for Fenerbahce is actually a first home loss of the season. They didn't lose a game with Itudis, and now Zvezda beat them. It just shows you how unpredictable this EuroLeague is, because if you just look at the standings and judge everything by the standings, it seems like Zvezda is kind of struggling. They're not having a good year, but they have so much quality in that team that you can definitely expect them to get better in the second part. And talking about Topic, one thing that stands out for me is like a player in his position, like 18-year-old player who knows he's a big draft prospect, he's a lottery pick, usually might think like, why should I go to EuroLeague right now to compete, to risk getting injured and all that stuff? It's good for me to just play one game per week in let's say ABA League. We can remember what Wemby did. He left Asvel, he joined Metropolitans, and he just played in the French league. But for a young Serbian player, I think it just shows you how much it means to play for Zvezda, how much it means for him to represent that team. And he wants to add it to his resume. And who knows if he will ever have the opportunity to play for Zvezda again. If he becomes an NBA star, well, maybe he will only play in the EuroLeague approaching retirement at 35 or 36 years old. Like, do you expect Nikola Jokic to play in the EuroLeague right now? Like, probably you're not expecting that unless he decides to play, let's say, his last year, like basically do what Arvydas Sabonis, for example, did. So for him, it's big, and you can see that and you can feel that. So I appreciate it that the player is not thinking about whether it's a good move for me or not. He's just thinking about the opportunity.
He's betting on himself. And even though I don't think that's a great move for his draft stock.
Exactly.
Like,
I also
staying in the EuroLeague, having those 19 points, 6 or 7 assists, whatever he had, he would have kept these until the end of the season. And, you know, probably remain a top 5 pick in the NBA. Right now, he could easily, you know, I don't know, be in a shock because he's all of a sudden in the EuroLeague. He has to figure out a lot of things. It is much harder for him, but not only he is not afraid, like that's a brave move from him.
Yeah.
Not only he's not afraid to play, he wants to play for Zvezda, and he doesn't care about his draft stock. Obviously, if he plays well, he might even go number 1, number 2. But at the same time, if he loses his rotation spot, that might mean he's falling out of the lottery.
Because Sfairopoulos will not give you minutes just for the sake of it. You need to earn it.
Sfairopoulos needs wins.
Yeah, so you must win in EuroLeague. Mistakes are not really tolerated. When you play just in the EuroLeague, you know, you can make mistakes. Everybody can accept that. Nobody feels that much pressure, and you can just play the way you want. Like, he played with so much freedom, as you said, and I think in some previous podcasts you actually did a short analysis of his games. So yeah,
I had a video about him in July, end of July start of August, after he won the MVP of under 18 Championship of Europe, where they won gold with Serbia. So
definitely a shout out to a young player who has the courage to play in the EuroLeague and to help Crvena Zvezda in this moment.
Before going to talk about our mid-season awards, probably we have to talk about, do we talk about Cody Miller-McIntyre game winner?
I mean,
we did not catch the game. We saw the game winner.
Yeah.
That was basically a similar shot to the one.
The man just has an agenda against the Greek teams.
Yeah, that's it. That's the reason. We have figured it out.
He did it versus Olympiacos. He did it versus Panathinaikos. Again, an important win for Baskonia, and the way Cody Miller-McIntyre has been playing since the coach's change is
phenomenal.
I mean, he's becoming a super solid floor general who's also good on defense. So he's becoming a two-way star in the EuroLeague, and he's also hitting those game winners.
He was actually really good on defense from to start the season already.
Yeah.
But it was his offense that was hurting Baskonia. Now he has figured it out. Baskonia have figured it out, and they're winning big games. And Chima Moneka just delivered one of the coolest post-game interviews ever in the EuroLeague. You know, the guy always delivers with content. Yeah. Just so fun to watch, not only on the court, another amazing game by him yesterday, but also off the court. And you know, I actually caught a little bit of this game. It was really a defensive one, to be honest, and it was weird because, you know, Baskonia at home usually plays.
You don't usually expect defensive-minded games in Buesa Arena.
Exactly, but now with Duško as a coach and Panathinaikos actually being the third best defensive team in the league, you kind of could have expected this. There was a lot of physicality, really great, some great defensive sequences. So it was a really tough start. Lizort picked up 3 fouls. Kendrick Nunn was once again amazing. Definitely we are going to talk about him in our Rookie of the Year conversation. So another great game that was decided by Cody Miller-McIntyre, Another mid-range shot, and probably another team who is facing the similar situation will know where this guy is going to. Where is his spot when the game is on the line?
He's not a 3-point shooter. So the mid-range is his shot. Actually, if you focus, let's say, on negative aspects, you could say, okay, Cody Miller-McIntyre is shooting only 24% from free and only 69% from the free throw line. But if you look at the positives, who wouldn't want to have a tall, physical point guard who plays good defense, and he's dropping a stat line of 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists with 12 in performance index rating? That's pretty close to a triple-double. It's half of a triple-double. Like in EuroLeague, probably you should treat half of the triple-double as an NBA triple-double.
So much easier.
If you get the 50%, like 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 8 points, you can say that that's EuroLeague's type of triple-double. And Cody Miller-McIntyre was in one game a rebound away from a triple-double?
One or two, I think.
2 rebounds away, yeah. A great player, and he's just having an agenda against the Greek teams, as I said.
Okay, so next topic is about the transfer deadline signings. And even though I expected a little bit more from the last day of where you can actually out-register the players, but we had Kevin Pangos going to Valencia and Ante Zizic going to Virtus. And let's talk about probably Pangos first. Do you think this changes anything for Valencia? Do you think they kind of go from this 9-8, 10-6, 10-8 team? Do they go into the top 6 clearly, or do they stay in the play-in zone? What do you think about this signing in general?
I think that Kevin Pangos on his own is not a major game changer. I don't think he is right now the player who can single-handedly bring the team from, let's say, play-in to the playoffs, from the 8th seed to the 6th seed, or anything like that. We know his situation. We know in the last few years he barely even got any rhythm. But it's a signing that should help Valencia because they're adding experience. They're adding more depth to the roster. Even last season we saw it, and this season once again, that their guards have the tendency to miss some games. Chris Jones sometimes gets injured. Jared Harper sometimes gets injured. Stefan Jovic sometimes gets injured. So it doesn't hurt to have another good point guard, another player who can create and play with the ball. In general, I think it just makes them deeper, a little bit stronger, add some different options. A point guard who's very good in the pick and roll. Once again, he can recreate his relationship on the court with Brandon Davis, because they've played together for
in every team they go
3 or 4 years in general, like Milan, Barcelona, and Kaunas. And Valencia is a team that's competing in the Spanish league as well as in the EuroLeague. You play tough games in the EuroLeague, but then you also have some tough games on weekend. So every extra player helps. To have a deep roster is very important for Spanish teams.
That's why they also have this rotation where everybody plays 18, 23 minutes.
Exactly. I think Alex Mombrou should be happy for getting another point guard. Now they're better prepared to face the situation, let's say, where 1 or 2 guys get injured. And if Pangos gets to his rhythm, he starts playing, he will help them. I don't expect him to be a hero or anything like that, but he will definitely help them. He's played in Spain before. He knows the league. He knows everything. I don't have any illusions that immediately he's going to be the best version of Kevin Pangos after everything that's happened in the recent years. But maybe he doesn't have that pressure right now because this team is good already. They're winning games. Just recently beat FS. They were in a pretty good position. So there shouldn't be any pressure for him to become the star of this team.
And I also think, Valencia doesn't have the license to play in the EuroLeague, so it's really important for them to have a great result this season in order to, increase their chances of remaining. We know they have a new arena coming up, but depending on how they play this season, it might end up being the deciding factor in whether they stay in the EuroLeague or not. So I think they really need an addition there. Some of the guys in their backcourt were struggling. So, the upside is here with Pangos. We don't know the version you are getting with him right now, but we remember him in Zenit. We remember him having some good games, for Milano. So if he can get back close to this shape, I think it's a great signing for Valencia. And what about Zizic to Virtus?
I just wanted to add one more thing about Pangos and Valencia, that like we're focusing on the EuroLeague standings and saying how crazy it is, like that mix of teams that has 9 or 10 wins. If you look at the ACB standings, man, they're 10-6. Barcelona is also 10-6. Murcia is 10-6. Gran Canaria is 10-6. Then you have Manresa and Baskonia with 9-7, and they finish the top 8. And then you have 2 teams catching the top 8 with 8 wins. That's Tenerife and Juventud Badalona. So we shouldn't underestimate how important it is for Spanish clubs to be in a good position in the regular season, not only in the EuroLeague, but also in Liga Endesa.
We are looking at this from our probably Lithuanian perspective, where Zalgiris...
Yeah, we know they're going to be fine in the Lithuanian
league. Fine. They start playing LKL, Yeah, they play. Yeah. But they're going to be in the playoffs. They're probably going to have the number 1 seed. And their real game, their real face only shows when they finish their season in the EuroLeague, in the playoffs. Like in the Spanish league, you are not allowed to do that, and there are so many good teams there. Most of the Spanish teams that are playing in the international competitions this season, I think they are leading their groups. EuroCup, FIBA Champions League, EuroLeague, they're at the top of the standings, most of these teams. So that just shows how great ACB is.
Exactly. So since you don't have the luxury to rest players on weekends, you must have more quality and more depth. And we expected Pangos to switch teams. Maybe we didn't really expect him to sign with Valencia. We at the time when Messina said all those things, we didn't have any knowledge about possible destinations. We were actually talking and discussing about the opportunity of bringing Pangos back to Kaunas. If you remember, we had some of those discussions as well. Okay, and Ante Zizic,
this was actually they were trying to get him in the summer already.
In the summer?
Valencia.
Oh, okay. Well, then it makes sense that they got this opportunity.
Pangos is finally freed himself from Milano. Maybe he'll be the right driver here.
We said about players being in bad situations, good situations.
And how he changes things.
We talked about Lekavic, how different it is right now for him, and a new environment, a new coach, a new system could help Pangos to feel good again and play solid basketball.
Yep.
And Zizic, well, that's a different type of a signing. An unexpected signing, I should say. It has a lot to do with Daniel Turu being amazing for FS. They found a gem.
Beast.
Yeah, they found a great player in the market. So now they have enough centers, and I think it's a good deal for all the sides involved. FS have Turu. They're happy right now with him. Zizic probably wanted to move where he could have a bigger role, and Virtus needed a center. Because since Kakok got injured and he's going to be out for a pretty long time, they are left with very limited options. Luka Banchi has a veteran center, Brian Dunstan. He can put Jordan Mickey as a 5. And basically that's it, because playing Polonara as a 5 right now doesn't look like a very good option. And
it's not an Italian national team.
And you want Mickey to, let's say, play as a 4 sometimes when Shengelia gets some rest. So to have that balance, they needed a center, and all of a sudden there's an opportunity to sign an experienced center who adds something different to the team. We know how good he is in the low post. He's very good at scoring in the paint. Not necessarily a good defender, but I don't think that should be a huge issue. Luka Banchi will figure it out, how to use a big man like Ante Zizic, and he's joining a veteran team. He should have no problems blending in, because every player on that team is so experienced. And Yeah, and I think it's a good signing for Virtus. Again, not some sort of a major game changer like they signed a superstar and now you see them as some EuroLeague favorites. But since they are in a very good position, in order to maintain that, you needed some help since, as I said, Kaycock got injured.
They needed a body in their front court, and they recreated Anadolu Efes center tandem from last season. It wasn't that successful last year, but I think around different personnel in different environment, Dunstan and Zizic can be successful. So it will be interesting to see. Let's go to our main topic of this podcast. This is the mid-season awards. Teams, okay, after yesterday, they have already played 18 games. So we are even a little bit above and beyond the mid-season point. But we are going to talk about the MVP. We are going to talk about the defensive player, coach of the year, rookie of the year, and most improved player. And we are going to give out all EuroLeague teams, first and second, at the end, and share some bold predictions to finish the podcast. So we have to start with the MVP. And I don't know. This was tough for me. Even though Real Madrid is 16-2, even though adding Campazzo there made it look to me like Real Madrid is unbeatable. But we have to talk about all three guys that are in this conversation. Mike, Facu, and Toko Shengelia. All three are having phenomenal seasons. And each three of these guys have their own agenda. And I think you are right if you choose any of these three.
Yeah.
And even though, Campazzo makes Real Madrid unbeatable, he has like 11 points, 7 assists per game, really great shooting from 2-pointers. But how many more games they have to win in order for him to get the MVP? Because his stats are not the best, obviously. His stats are the lowest of all these three guys. But he's creating so many points. He makes Real Madrid look illegally good. But, if you need a game winner or you need to clinch the game in the last seconds, I'm probably going to go with Mike. Mike is having the best season probably of his life in the EuroLeague, scoring almost 20 points per game. Career high.
Not almost. It's actually 20.2 right now.
Oh, after last game?
Yeah, 20.2 points per game, 21.8 in performance index rating.
Okay, I had 19.8 after...
44% from free.
I had 19.8 after the round 17. Career high 3-point shooting, insanely good in every game, consistent this season, as was the opposite from last season where he was kind of up and down. And without him this year, Monaco are kind of plagued with injuries. Jordan Lloyd is in and out of the rotations.
I miss Jordan Lloyd so much, man.
So he's been illegally good, and just I think he can have a really... you could say Mike James is the MVP, and you'd be right. And the same could be said about Toko Shengelia. So who do you have? Because I probably would have to say, at the moment, Mike James, no single-digit games. But at the same time, if you say Campazzo or Toko Shengelia, I'm okay with that.
You said it. I'm not even sure if I can add anything to it. Like you said, everything that I wanted to say.
But you have to choose one.
I can just say that if Efes was winning more games, Shane Larkin should be in the conversation as well. But since Efes are in a bad position right now, we're not talking about him. But if you just look at the numbers and his performances, he's also MVP worthy. But the team is not winning, so we're focusing on the winning teams. And of course, Real Madrid has the best record. Virtus is second, so that's also in favor of Shengelia. A power forward who's creating for his teammates, who's dishing assists, who's playing very consistent basketball this year. I would vote for Mike James as well. I would say, you cannot go wrong with any of these three guys, but I just want EuroLeague to finally have an American point guard, because maybe there were some players in the past that were left out and deserved it, but didn't get the recognition.
You mean American MVP?
Yeah, American MVP,
okay.
yeah. And I think that Mike James this season is just on a mission. You didn't see a bad game from him. You didn't hear any bad stuff about him like in previous seasons. He was suspended. There were some things happening. This season is just all about basketball. He's playing 31 minutes per game. He has a super high usage rate. He's playing so much in the ISO. He's hitting important shots. Actually, in some games, he really worked on defense. Like, not always you get that from him, but he, in some games, I remember Zvezda game in Belgrade and some others, like, he really worked on defense. And from all these three, you're thinking like, okay, how dependent are these teams on these guys? If you take Shengelia out from Virtus, let's say for 5 games, they will have problems. You expect them probably to lose more than win, but okay, they will still find a way.
I think they win 1 game out of 5.
They will have huge problems. Well, it depends on who they're playing, but
For sure.
I agree. That would be a huge blow to Virtus. If you take Campazzo out of Madrid for 5 games, well, it will get tougher. They will start playing more like last year, but I imagine they could still win games. Like,
they won the EuroLeague without him, but with him right now, they look unbeatable. Like, they look so hard to stop, even after yesterday's El Clasico. But
what I want to finish with is, like, imagine if Mike James wasn't playing. Jordan Lloyd is out. How many games would they win with Kemba Walker as their main point guard? I would say they'd be somewhere close to Alba Berlin and Asvel Villeurbanne.
You disrespect the other guys.
Okay, man, but since Jordan Lloyd barely even played this season, it was all about Mike James, and I cannot imagine them being in a position with 10 and 8 without him and with his MVP level of basketball. So I'm voting for him. I know it's like subjective. It's a matter of opinion. I know that people have other opinions, and some people will go to the comment section and say, like, what are you talking about? Shengelia is the obvious front runner. And maybe you're right. So we just have to decide.
The word obvious about this MVP race, I think it's unfair. I think there's there is no obvious choice here.
Nope.
At least at this point of the season.
And I again just want to repeat myself, like, stop including the quarterfinal series to this voting. It's a regular season award, because
absolutely
Virtus Bologna might have an amazing season, finish with the 2nd seed, and then lose a playoff series to the 7th seed,
and that's gonna hurt Shengelia's MVP case. But
it's not
should
fair.
it really? Like,
it's not fair. It's a regular season award, so yeah.
Right. Who do we go next? Defensive Player of the Year. I think this is just as hard to choose as
because the MVP is about, like, choosing from 3 great players, from 3 obvious candidates.
And my bad. Before we go into this, I forgot to mention that at BasketNews we conducted a survey of our colleagues, and they gave the MVP to Campazzo, 40%. Shengelia got 35% of the votes, and Mike James only got 20%. And Donatas, who is not here with us today, he did a EuroLeague players survey. 37, I think, participated, or around 40 participated. You can read it on BN Plus, the whole article, but I can spoil it for you that the winner of the players' vote was also Facundo Campazzo, with a really similar amount of votes, 37%. And there were other guys getting the votes, and Donatas wrote it all about it in his article. So go check it out on BN Plus, and I'm going to do this for every category. So best defensive player, our colleagues, our BasketNews workers voted Jerine Grant as number 1, 40%, Walter Tavares 25%, John Brown 15%. So who do you have, and what are your arguments for this? Even though before the podcast you said that you don't have a clear winner.
Like this year, I don't really have a clear favorite. Last year I was so focused on Thomas Walkup. I was holding all of his stocks. I was buying it, and I thought that he has a good case, but it still ended up in Eddie Tavares' big hands. So right now you wouldn't be wrong to vote him as a defensive player of the year again.
Even though he's playing a subpar season to his standard.
Yeah, but still, his team has the number one defensive rating, and he's still so good protecting the rim. But you just want something different. You want finally some of those players who guard the perimeter to be recognized. It's too easy to always get the defensive player of the year to a big center who's a rim protector. Like, again, this year we're hearing about Rudy Gobert having a pretty strong campaign for defensive player of the year. So Jerian Grant to me is a nice pick. Jerian Grant really is a nice pick. I could throw some names like Alpha Diallo, John Brown, Thomas Walkup is still there, definitely. But Jerian Grant to me sounds like a very good choice. I can remember what he did to Keenan Evans in Oaxaca when they played. He definitely did a good job on some other star players from the opposing teams. And at the same time, he's a two-way player. He's important on offense as well for Panathinaikos. So Jerian Grant, I kind of agree with that. I'm picking him.
I voted for him myself. He was amazing in more than one game against the best players, just glued to them. And, last year I voted for Thomas Walkup because I just thought, he was just so amazing throughout all the season. I'm seeing similar stuff from Jerian Grant. I'm not saying he's better than Thomas Walkup, but as you said, you want some new names, new faces on this defensive player on the year voting, and Tavares is amazing. Mustafa Fall is amazing. If you look at the defensive ranking, Real Madrid is first, Valencia I think is second, Pau is third, and Olympiacos is fourth. So you have Jerian Grant from the third best defensive team. You have Walkup and Fall from fourth best defensive team. You have Tavares, and Valencia are doing a really good job collectively, playing really physical, and you can name a couple of guys from them. And so I would agree with Jerian Grant. Just his perimeter defense, his denial from the ball. Yeah, he gets beaten from time to time, but that's what happens if you play that defense. You are not safe from this. And so we agree on Jerian Grant.
Yeah.
The players actually, did not consider him that often. And the players did not surprise anyone. Walter Tavares was number one, but there are some pretty interesting names further down the list. So if you want to check that out. The next category is probably the category that I think has the least doubts. Coach of the year.
You're deciding between Luka Banchi and Chus Mateo. I think it's pretty obvious.
Somebody voted for Duško Ivanović.
I wouldn't vote for a coach who stepped in during the season.
Who got fired from one team.
And fair play to him. He did an amazing job so far with Baskonia. But we're talking about two names, Luka Banchi and Chus Mateo. Whether you go with the best record and the coach who is like a defending champion, or are you going with the coach who resurrected the team that last season didn't even compete to be in the playoffs, and right now they're the second seed? So I think I'm not saying that Chus Mateo's job is easy, and I think that this season, and I feel from watching Real Madrid that he has even more confidence, and maybe the players have more confidence in him, and it's not only about Campazzo. I think that in general, they're recreating what they had with Pablo Lasso, like this continuity, this chemistry, and all that. And the coach is important. So Chus Mateo deserves credit, but I'm voting for Luka Banchi. I mean, what he's doing with Virtus Bologna so far is amazing. He's coaching a veteran team and bringing the best out of every player. Like Marco Bellinelli last year, it seemed like he's probably going to retire. Is he even good enough to play in the EuroLeague right now? All of a sudden, he's a threat. Toko Shengelia had a tough year with injuries and all that, and now Luka Banchi is just putting him in that best position as a power forward who's basically the key player. The team is built around him, and then you have Danny Hackett and everybody else, and he just built a really solid team. They're playing smart basketball. They're good on offense. They're good on defense. To me, he's the coach of the year so far, and he's a coach that for the last 2, 3, or even 5 years. Probably teams were not even considering him anymore for EuroLeague because previously he wasn't that successful, and now he's back, and we're seeing that he has a lot of new ideas, and he got this team playing the way he wants pretty quickly. So Luka Banchi, I think, probably will agree on this.
If you think about or ask anybody in Europe, best coach ever, it's got to be Željko Obradović.
Yeah,
and nobody will have a single doubt about this. But this season, what Luka Banchi has done with Virtus, you can't prove me otherwise that he does not deserve the coach of this season, coach of the year award. And
mid-season, let's say, right?
Yeah,
because
at the moment,
things might change
for the first part of the season. What he has done is absolutely worthy of the title. Same roster that was 14th at the same stage of the season. Right now, our second, and probably what is the most competitive EuroLeague we had, in recent memory. So many teams actually think that they can be in the playoffs. Every game is hard. Apart from Asvel and Alba, 16 teams think they belong to the playoffs. So to have Virtus at second spot after the first round is absolutely nuts. And some of the guys that were not playing or were playing in a second unit right now are the main guys. And he just, I don't know what he did, how his magic worked, but we talked about him a lot in this podcast, even in the start after the start of the season, first 5-6 games. We already talked about what he changed, but just the way he had everyone playing at their best level, guys who did not have confidence right now hitting important shots. Ife Lundberg having great games every once in a while, hitting big shots. Hackett, Bellinelli's and Shengelia's connection, playing off of each other is just amazing. So
Cordinia has been great as well.
Cordinia has been, one of the biggest revelations of the season in my eyes. So to me, 90% of BasketNews workers thought he deserves this award, and I completely agree with this. If we talk only about this season, it's Luka Banchi. The players agree, not at the same high percentage. It's only 35, but Luka Banchi gets the coach of the year.
And you're not wrong if you're voting for just Mateo, but we have so many strong arguments for Luka Banchi's case.
Yeah. Anyway, we have finished 3 categories. Please let us know in the comment section down below. What do you think your winners of these all categories that we will talk about even later? Let's discuss it in the comment section down below. It's always interesting to hear your thoughts. And the next one is Rookie of the Year. This is kind of tricky because I was surprised that in our internal voting, Kendrick Nunn does not get into the top 3. He is a really great signing. He's been really solid. He's, at the moment, everybody in Panathinaikos or everybody around Panathinaikos know that he's the number 1 guy. Like, he has the ball in most of the possessions. It's not Kostas Lukas. It's not Vildoza. It's not Mitoglu or Matthias Lesort. It's Kendrick Nunn deciding games. And he has been really, really great, really solid. So I was a little bit surprised.
Maybe people are just focusing on the fact that he's like an in-season signing and played less games. But, he joined in November.
I think he already played at least half of the games, so...
Yeah, I agree that he should be considered, but that I'm just trying to think why people left him out.
He has played 12 games already.
12 games,
out of 18.
No, he's a good scorer.
12
and I expect him to actually improve his three-point shooting because
I agree.
It's only 29% so far, but I know from the NBA that he's a pretty good shooter. He has confidence in his shot-making abilities, so the numbers should even get better.
Mm-hmm. But, okay, he deserves to be definitely in the top 3, top 5. Who do you have as number 1?
There are some solid choices, If Serge Ibaka hadn't played a few games for Real Madrid during a lockout, you could vote for him as a Rookie of the Year, a 35-year-old rookie. I'm going with Cody Miller-McIntyre.
Cody Miller-McIntyre.
I'm going with Cody Miller-McIntyre. The start of the season was tough, not only for him, but also for the team. But as I said, I just love these two-way players who are great on defense and solid on offense as well. And when you have a wild scorer like Marcus Howard next to him, you probably need that calm type of a point guard. They had Darius Thompson last year, and now Cody Miller-McIntyre is becoming that guy. Other players I want to give a shout out, like PG Dozier, definitely. The first month maybe was tough. Then he figured out what Jelko wants from him, and now he's playing amazing basketball. Even Jabari Parker deserves a shout out because he's good and he's, I would say, consistent for Barcelona as well.
You didn't mention my winner though.
I didn't mention your winner. What did I forget? Please let me know.
Bruno Caboclo.
Okay, yeah, of course. He has to be mentioned as well. But
I was a little bit afraid he somehow played in the EuroLeague, but
I'm not gonna vote for him. But that's also a good choice. I'm sticking to Cody Miller-McIntyre though.
That's fair. We already talked about Miller-McIntyre today a little bit. He's been amazing, but to me, I think it's Caboclo. And just as Partizan signed Bruno, I immediately said that Partizan's season starts only then. And he has been fantastic. He is the missing piece Partizan needed. He surprised me with his offensive game. His percentages are ridiculous, to be honest. It's 76%. He's averaging 12 points and 4.3 rebounds. 76% from 2, 57% from the 3-point range, and 74% on free throws. So he's not only giving you the defense, the energy, the pick and roll, but rim protection, the ability to switch. He's also giving you the ability of the pick and pop. So he's basically, so right now it's like I'm looking at the signing of Frank Kaminsky, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's important to have the ability, the depth, but like Bruno Caboclo does everything and better. And to me, his ability to shoot is what surprised me. I even saw him now shooting a little mini step backs after the dribble, or like a fake spin and like a fadeaway shot he hit the other day.
Toronto Raptors fans, you should watch that.
I'm shocked he's doing these things, and then he's casually knocking down the 3-pointer. Is super confident in his ability to shoot. So he has been an amazing pickup by Partizan, and I can understand why in the summer he was like, I don't support what he did in the summer, and I've made it perfectly clear. But I understand why in the summer he was like, let me try to go for that NBA shot. If he's playing like this for the whole season, I think he's going to raise some eyebrows in the NBA as well. So shout out to Bruno, amazing season. He gets my Rookie of the Year nomination. And I had Miller-McIntyre, Kendrick Nunn, and PG Dozier right after him.
If he clears out stuff like unnecessary fouls and some mental mistakes that he sometimes has on defensively and on boxing out, he is going to be an elite center in the EuroLeague for the upcoming years, if he stays in the EuroLeague, of course.
And with him, they're playing him at the 4, at the 5. We even saw in Kaunas and again in the game against Milano, they were playing Lide at the 3. Bruno
it's kind of a
4.
positionless basketball, like Smailagic
at the 5,
and
right.
Caboclo in the same lineup.
Some interesting stuff. So the colleagues at BasketNews decided it was Bruno Caboclo. The players agreed with you. It's Cody Miller-McIntyre with 32% of the votes. And we at BasketNews had Bruno at 40.
It's strange, but Cody Miller-McIntyre somehow gives me some like Gary Payton vibes. I don't know why. He doesn't.
I can see
he
that.
He doesn't look like a trash talker or anything like that, but just the way he plays the game.
No, he looks one of the calmest dudes on the court. Yeah. Like you have Chima Moneke on the other side, and right on the complete opposite is and Cody in
the middle there's
Miller-McIntyre.
Marcus Howard.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Probably the category where we are going to mention one of the guys.
No, Andre Miller vibes actually more than Gary Payton. Sorry about the interruption. Andre Miller.
This is better.
Andre Miller is
this
a better
is better.
comparison.
This is much better. This is much better. But okay, most improved player or a breakout year, whatever you want to call this category. There are multiple choices here. A lot of guys that were, just as I mentioned, from Virtus. When talking about Bologna Virtus, you have a lot of guys that were in the second unit just last year and right now just absolutely dominating the EuroLeague. Yeah. You could say Chima Moneke, you could say Tadas Sedekerskis, you could say Alec Peters. I don't know, Johannes Thiemann in this conversation as well. So a lot of names here.
Yes.
Dinos Mitoglu even. Like he didn't even play last year, but 2 seasons ago he was a second unit player for Milano.
I think it's kind of a philosophical discussion. What is a most improved player? Like, is it someone who actually improved their game, or is it just someone who's in a much better position right now than he was last year? Like, if you're talking about just players improving stats, Marco Bellinelli could be considered as the most improved player. Did he improve his game, though, at 38 years old?
He worked a lot during the summer in his home. He changed his shooting mechanics and,
Talking about Chima Moneke, I knew he was a great player.
The guy was in the NBA just last season.
He played
Don't forget that.
In Manresa, and he was great. I knew that. I saw that. So last year, he joined Monaco during the season. He was put in a completely different role, and you couldn't expect him to drop some huge numbers. He had different tasks on that team once he joined, so it was completely different. I'm not saying I expected him to have these numbers that he has right now in Baskonia, but I did expect him to be good. I don't think he's a different player than he was a year or two ago. It's just that he's in a completely different situation. So, and you could say that about Alec Peters as well. Vezenkov left, so he's stepping up. He has a bigger role. That's why I try to think about players who I watch and I'm thinking he added something to his game. So in this discussion, it might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm voting for Johannes Thiemann because to me, first of all, it seems like he's improved as a leader with his confidence that he's bringing back from the German national team now being the world champion. He's been the captain of the team even before, but you didn't feel that consistency, that calmness from him that you see right now. To me, it looks like, I might be wrong, I don't know, because these players play for national teams. They don't have time in the summer to work out on moves or anything like that. But it looks like he added some post moves. He looks like he's being more aggressive this year. He actually got to the free throw line much more often than last year. He already shot 79 free throws, and he shot 79 in the whole season. I'm talking about last season. He took 39 frees last year, shooting, I don't remember the percent, but that was pretty low. He took 43 frees already this year, and he made 17. That's 40.5%. He's dominating in the paint. He's getting the rebounds. The situation for him also changed because players like Luka Sigma, Modolo left the team. But watching him play, it seems to me like he added stuff to his game. That's what I call an improved player. His team is not winning. I know that. But if Johannes Thiemann would become a free agent today, he would get offers.
A lot of teams on that list.
He would get offers.
A lot of teams on that list.
He's 29. It looks like he's at the peak of his career. And no disrespect to Chima Moneke or anybody else, because they all deserve this award or any other award you might give them. But I'm going to go with JT, the captain of Alba Berlin.
That's interesting. And I really agree with your point. We have already talked about this. Breakout player or most improved player in the EuroLeague is very different from this award in the NBA. Because in the NBA, you see guys that, take jumps in their usage, in the playing time, also
switch teams, like Brandon Ingram. traded from Lakers to Pelicans.
It's true. It happens.
Most improved player.
It happens like in the EuroLeague. But most of the time, it's just the guy that gets a bigger role because he deserves it, and you could see that he doesn't fit anymore with the second unit. In the EuroLeague, it's more about finding the right environment around you. And if you look at all these guys like Chima Moneke, Tadas Sedekerskis, you have Joel Bolomboy here as well. Even Alec Peters jumping from from a smaller role to a much bigger role. A lot of these guys just were used in a one way last season.
Yeah.
And they're used in a completely different one. You're just getting more opportunities and different opportunities in the new team. So it's a different kind of award here in Europe. And, so many good choices here. Chima, Peters, Tadas, Johannes Tiemann, Isaiah Cordinier, Joel Bolomboy has been fantastic. But I still go with Chima Moneke. I think for me, his improvement, you talked about Tiemann's post-ups and free throws. To me, it's his three-point shooting with Monaco. Yeah. In a limited role, he played 202 minutes in the EuroLeague in total. He shot only 3 times from behind the line. He made 0. Right now, he's already 21 of 47, and that's a huge change. That's a game changer, not only for him, that's a game changer for Baskonia. So Chima is my pick for most improved player, and our colleagues agree with this. Basically, it was between Chima and Tadas. Chima got 45%, Tadas got 40% of votes. Players also voted for Chima Moneke, 24%. So
right, fair enough. I'm just like I said, I'm going for the player who has been with the same team and the same coach for multiple seasons, and now he's having his best season in numbers. And I just checked the 3-point shooting, as I said before. Last year it was 23%, 9 from 39. This season it's already above 40%, and he's taking more shots.
That's crazy.
So
the best pickup in fantasy EuroLeague from round 1.
Oh yeah, that's true. Like his value increased rapidly with every game week.
We have so all the awards are given out by us. Just another reminder to write yours in the comment section down below, and we go to all EuroLeague team. This is going, I think, to be pretty hard, and some interesting names are going to be thrown here. Yeah, what do you think about first team?
Mid-season all EuroLeague team. How strict are we on positions?
2 and 3, or 2-2-1?
Right. So Mike James, Facundo Campazzo, and Toko Shengelia are locked in the first team.
I agree.
Jan Vesely is my center.
I agree. Okay, this is going.
Jan Vesely has been so important. He's reminding me of that MVP season he had when he played for Željko
2019
in Fenerbahce. We have one spot left.
Another wing.
Another wing.
Another big guy.
What is your choice? Because I have mine. I'm pretty confident with my choice.
So there are options: Chima, Siobhan Shields, Peters, Mitoglu,
Deck.
He's been out. I still go with Chima Moneke for the first team. Mid-season awards.
Yep.
Chima Moneke in the first team. That was your choice as well?
Yeah, man.
Second team.
I had some thoughts about, let's say, Deck. I had some thoughts even about Bonzi Carlson, because Maccabi all of a sudden are 11-7.
All of a sudden.
Look at the circumstances they're dealing with, but they're still winning games, and Bonzi Carlson has been really good. I would say that Wade Baldwin and Lorenzo Brown are kind of underperforming, but Bonzi Carlson was very consistent alongside Josh Nebo. But Chima Moneke has to be in the first team.
And to me, definitely I did not expect Chima to be in the first team all EuroLeague in after half of the season, but Jan Vesely here as well. The guy has been fantastic, and just Barcelona signed Willie.
It seemed like now Vesely is going to be a backup. Are they going to play some tall lineups with Vesely as a 4? Nope.
He's been fantastic. That switch all defense by him, the offensive rebounds that you mentioned, the tap backs. And that's automatic mid-range, short mid-range that we already talked about. At the 5 position, he can roll. He can do this short pop, to counter the Mustafa Fall, the Walter Tavares. Absolutely, a lot of good centers to choose from, actually. But I think
Nebo,
Vesely, Mustafa Fall,
Ibaka,
Matthias Lesort,
Tavares.
Some great centers in the EuroLeague.
Vincent Poirier from October and November.
That one as well. So, But the first team, I think we agree with you, Rytis. Campazzo, Mike, Chima, Toko Shengelia, and Jan Vesely.
Yeah.
I don't know if our listeners agree to this, but to us too, it seems pretty
It makes
clear.
A lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. But let's go with the second unit. This is where I think it gets interesting.
It's so tough.
What do you have here? Who do you have? I think Shane is a lock here.
Shane Larkin is definitely a lock. Shane is a lock.
Who are you taking for the other guard spot? Is it Nikola Mirotic?
I mean, Mirotic could be here, but he missed.
I'm kidding.
Missed so many games because of injury. I mean, he could be here as a forward in the second team.
I'm not considering him because of injuries and he will miss a lot more games coming forward. So
same reason.
It's going to be hard for him.
Okay. I wanted to bring someone from Partizan to this, and Kevin Punter was also injured. He had a tough start of the season. I'm not gonna put him in here, although I'm gonna put in James Nunnally for being so consistent.
One of the all-time members of the 50-40-90 club.
And right now he's a member of 60-44-90 club, whatever. I mean,
crazy good percentages.
His numbers are great. He has been very solid this season. He started the second part of the season with a mediocre performance versus Asvel, but it doesn't count. We're talking about the midway through the season, so the first 17 games, he played all of them. He didn't miss a single game. He's also a good defender, so I don't know. Maybe you didn't consider him, but I wanted a Partizan player, a perimeter player, to be here in the second unit.
I chose La Provitola.
That also
Shane,
is a good option.
It was between Keenan Evans and La Provitola for the other guard spot. Yeah. Lapro has crazy good percentages. He has been the catalyst to that amazing Barcelona hot start.
Yeah.
Just playing freely, playing fast, shooting threes, playing spectacular, doing
some Steph Curry-like shots.
And just being the number one option for Barcelona, and basically carrying the team to this record they have right now. We don't count the round 18 against Real Madrid, but he also had a solid game there. So I think he deserves a lot of names deserve to be here. But I think I'm happy with my Shane Larkin and La Provitola pick for the second all-team backcourt. The front court. This is so tough.
So tough. I didn't want to leave out some of these guys. I'm leaving out right now, but.
So who are you?
Siobhan Shields and Bonzi Carlson for me.
I agree with Shields, but I was thinking between Alec Peters and Mitoglu. I go with Alec Peters.
Yeah. Again, as I said, I'm leaving out Deck, leaving out Peters, leaving out Mitoglu. I don't feel good about it, but what, are we going to build a third All-EuroLeague team?
Somebody is just, not everybody is going to be happy. Not everybody is going home with an award, but imaginative award.
You try to focus a bit, let's say, on the team, whether they're winning or not. So Milan, you cannot say they're a winning team with 7-11, but Siobhan Shields has been great even in the games that they lost. So I think he has to be here. They're playing without Mirotic for a while, and he's playing almost 32 minutes per game.
Fifth best scorer, solid percentages, 53, 46, 85.
Yeah.
By the PAR ranking, he is number 10th, almost 18 efficiency points per game. And Alec Peters, to me, top 8 in scoring. Even better percentages, 62 and 53 from the 3-point line, 5.4 rebounds. It's like Vezenkov has never left the building,
And you know what?
It's the only difference been that he's not left-handed.
That is true. And you know what? We didn't even mention Nigel Hayes-Davis. He's playing 34 minutes per game, leading Fenerbahce in points and performance index rating and in minutes played, and didn't miss a single game. Started all of those games.
But it's so hard. It's only 10 spots in the two teams, and when you have guys like Alec Peters, he's averaging 2 points more than Nigel Hayes-Davis, and doing that on 62 and 53 percentage.
Yeah, just judging by the numbers, you have to pick him. I mean, I didn't. I went with Bonzi Carlson, just maybe because of my personal, let's say, favoritism in this case. But Alec Peters has to be here in general. And at center, I have Josh Nebo, another Maccabi player.
He has been super solid.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets enough recognition in the EuroLeague for how good he actually is.
That's the best I have ever seen him. Even last season, Maccabi was a successful team. I cannot say he was that consistent.
No, I agree. It was super hard for me to choose between either Mustafa Fall, but I would still Lazort, Ibaka, Tavares, Nebo. For
so many
the way
options,
he played,
options,
I still think what Mustafa Fall has been doing for Olympiacos is so important. He's averaging so many assists this season.
And even though they have Milutinov, he's...
Right, and everybody expected Milutinov to be the number one option.
He's still dominating.
But it's Mustafa Fall who's still dominating. And, Olympiacos players look for him in the post with 6 seconds left on the shot clock because they know he could either create a score or they can pass to him. The defense could collapse and they can cut and get a basket off of that in the last 5 seconds. So that's, to me, a huge game changer. And even though I really wanted to squeeze in Josh Nebo here, but I think Mustafa Fall is my choice. So I'm going with Olympiacos.
So you chose two Olympiacos players. I chose two Maccabi players. You can, from this, you can see which teams we prefer.
Yeah, and Pau fans are going to say, hey, Matthias Lazort is averaging more points, more rebounds, and stuff like that. But he's been great. So just as I said, you could have 5 centers here in the second
in other
unit
positions as well. I mean, look, I have not only you have La Provitola, and you could choose even other players. You could build a lineup, let's say, where Shields is together with Peters and Mitoglu or Carlson. It's good that we have players to choose from.
Yeah.
We completely agreed on the first All-EuroLeague team in this mid-season awards, but in the second we had some different options.
And to finish the podcast, a couple of bold predictions for 2024 from each of us. What do you have? It was pretty hard for me to actually.
Yeah, I don't have anything sensational or anything controversial.
This is what we want here. This is what Donatas wants here. Some sensational stuff.
I know, man. But
some Instagram Reels material.
I just don't have it in me this time.
Come on, man. Now, not enough Red Bull this morning.
I think it was enough. I don't know, man. You tell me. What do you feel? Is it enough? Should I drink some more next time?
No.
I wasn't late today, though. You should.
Right.
Appreciate that.
3 minutes before. I will write to Donatas. I will write.
You tell him.
He wasn't
how
late.
Proud you are of me.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay, my first bold prediction is that Fenerbahce Istanbul will avoid the play-in, and they will be a team in the playoffs in the top 6 with Sharas.
Oh, I thought you were going even further with this.
I'm not gonna go further. I mean, home court advantage is doable. I'm not doing long shot predictions about the Final Four, but at the moment, to even get to the top 6 and avoid the play-in is a big achievement, I think. And knowing that the team changed the coach during the season, It's not going to be easy, but I will put them above some of really good teams.
See, this is where we were thinking kind of similarly, but I just went one step further.
You went further.
I had them in the final. I have them in the final four, actually.
Okay.
That's
why I said I don't have any controversial takes, and you're here to help.
More spice in this Fenerbahce.
Yeah.
I think they're a Final Four team. Why? Because this is such a competitive EuroLeague. The gaps between teams are so thin. So many small details will decide if you are going to Final Four or not, if you are going to the playoffs. I believe in Jasikevich's tactics, the way he prepares team. They have a lot of things to figure it out right. The game against Crvena Zvezda showed that. Like they have to figure out their defense, their rotations, their energy, how they make fouls before bonus, and all that stuff. Jasikevich's will repeat every day. But I think in the playoffs, where the gaps between teams are so thin, and you have Virtus, Barcelona in the second or third spot, and let's say Fenerbahce arrives sixth or seventh, and or even higher, who knows? It's not that far. I think when the gaps are so thin between teams, the details are going to decide who's going to the Final Four, and I think Šarūnas Jasikevičius has that in him, and he has the players around him that can give him flexibility to use whatever tactic he likes. So I really think I'm going to be the Donatas of 1 year ago or 2 years ago, where he said that Fenerbahce are going to the final.
Well, now you should say 2 years ago, because he did it before the 2022-2023 season.
Yeah,
but
it was
since
September 22
just started.
Yeah. He said it before the beginning of the last season. I'm saying it now. Fenerbahce are going to the Final Four, and that's my first bold prediction.
Okay, my second one is, I would say, a bit more doubtful. Probably not too many people will agree with this, but I'm just saying that Bayern Munich will be in the play-in. And my arguments are pretty simple.
They're 2 wins away at the moment.
Well, they're 2 wins away. It's not that much. Lucic is back. They're getting players back. They have Serge Ibaka, who's been amazing so far this season. They have a good lineup, a good roster, and they've been really solid. And even in some of the games that they lost, like the last game versus Bologna, they have experience, they have quality, they have everything. They have a good coach. And if they stay healthy, I believe they can do it, because the schedule for them in the second part of the season, they play more at home than away. The away games that they have, not too many of them are in those like super tough atmospheres. I think they will have only Partizan in Stark Arena and Fenerbahce in Istanbul. All the other games are pretty much doable. They will have this stretch of games where they play 4 games at home out of 5. It will be at the end of the January and beginning of February. So I'm thinking, why not? Why can't they get the 10th seed? I believe they could push Valencia out of the top 10. That could be one of their targets. Baskonia could be a team they get in front of and get to the play-in. I know that Armani will be going for that spot. Zvezda will be going for that spot. Efes, so it will be really, really, really tough. But we're doing ball predictions, right? So that's something.
So you think Valencia?
I'm thinking they will be there, replacing Valencia in the top 10.
Okay, that's interesting.
Although Valencia, again, it's you don't want to go against them now. They added Pangos. They're a good team. They have very solid defense, physicality, size, and everything. But just if I have to pick a team from the current top 10, which Bayern Munich could replace, I mean, I'm not going to go with Partizan or Monaco or Olympiacos or Panathinaikos or Maccabi. I mean, come on.
Yeah. That one is going to be interesting to follow.
I don't really that strongly believe in it, but I had to say something, so I had to bring something to the table.
Mine is about not about the teams, but actually about the head coaches.
Okay.
And I don't want to see that happening, but half of the EuroLeague coaches are going to be changed before the end of the season. I think we have 6 right now.
6 coaching changes.
Yeah, already. And I think 9 at least. Not to say at least, but 9 coaches, half of the coaches are going to be changed.
You want to predict some names?
You have Potseko, who is already in the rumor mill. Roger Grimau. Erdem Can, although I really hope he's not changed. I don't hope for any of these guys, but it's just so many...
History shows that it usually happens.
There is not much patience. And as I mentioned before in this podcast, so many teams think they are playoff material. Like 16 teams think they are playoff material. So at least 4 or 5 or 6 are not going to be happy because they're not even in the play-in. And that's why the GMs are like, okay, we need to change the coach. We can't change the players. We are going to change the coach. And maybe the Duško effect is going to help us. Or they insert the new name of the head coach. So Potseko, Grimau, Sfairopoulos, Messina, Erdem Can, as you mentioned. A lot of just looking at the names that have been on the rumor mill and looking at the teams that are outside of the play-in. I'm not saying these coaches are doing a bad job. It's just that we have seen so many changes of the head coaching. So I wouldn't be surprised if any more of those happens. And if 9 coaches of 18 lose their job in one season, that would be a crazy, crazy number to me. 50% don't even finish the season. I don't know how possible that is, but we already have 6 and it's only New Year's. So
to finish my predictions, my first, I have 2 predictions combined into one. So first of all, I expect Virtus Bologna to go down, but not
how down?
Not dramatically, to stay in the top 6, but go down. Lose the home court advantage, maybe.
But they still get to playoffs without playing.
Yeah, but without home court advantage.
Okay.
Let's put it this way.
Okay.
And I predict that Real Madrid in the second part of a regular season will lose 5 games or more.
Okay.
Because recently they started to deal with some injury problems. They actually ran away with some games, they beat Asvel by a single point. They were so close to losing that game. Now they lost the Clasico, and if some players will be out, if they will still have some of these problems, they could start losing a game or 2. And then in the end of a regular season, if they clinch the first seed, let's say with 2 or 3 games left, the remaining games they will play on the economy regime, so saving players, and they could lose some games there too. So in general, I expect them to not to break the EuroLeague record, which has how many games they have to win? 29 or 30? I think Fenerbahce had the record when there were 16 teams. Talking about winning percentage. So
I think we calculated this. I think they have to win 29 times or 30. The number is...
Let's check 2021, 2022 season. Barca only lost 7 games.
Barca?
Yeah. 2021, 2022 season. So...
It has to be more.
Or tied. I'm saying they will lose 5 games or more. So they will not break the record. They might match it.
I had a prediction about Real Madrid as well, that they're not going to win the EuroLeague, even though they look unbeatable. But it's going to sound like anti-Real Madrid podcast, but it's not. Just I had a video about them recently that they're like an NBA team in Europe with the way they're playing. They're just beautiful to watch. One of my favorite team this season to watch. But in a single elimination game, they had so much luck last year. I just think that at the end of the season, when you go to the single elimination games, somehow, some way, another team that's an underdog, that's going to be an underdog in the Final Four, let's say, are going to have some crazy luck, 17 3-pointer game or whatever, and going to beat Real Madrid.
I'm just saying saving my playoff and Final Four predictions for the future.
For playoffs.
I'm still focusing on the regular season just to be
Okay,
safe.
then.
But what you said is true. What you said is true. This format is crazy. You can have the best year and not win the title. Like Olympiacos last season was without a doubt the best team in the EuroLeague.
Hey, Sergei. Anyway, if we are talking only about the regular season, I have one last one. I think Partizan will be a top 4 lock at the end of this.
Hard to argue with that.
They have been fantastic last year in the second part of the season. I think they have now with Caboclo and, they have some injuries still. But with Caboclo, Lide, Kaminsky, Smilagic playing really good. Even Tristan Vukcevic is giving them really solid minutes. Punter is back after the injury. James Nunnally is always, efficient. When Alexa will be back. But PJ Dozier.
Yeah.
So many weapons, so many guys. And in the second part of the season, they always play even better than they have done in the first part. So right now, they're only 2 wins away from the 3rd spot even.
Yeah, only 1 win away from the 4th spot.
So it's probably not even a bold prediction, but if you want me to make this a bold prediction, I would even say they could be a top 2 lock.
So who are the other 2 teams for you in the top 4?
I think that's a great question. I think Madrid, Partizan.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Madrid.
I think Barcelona.
I'm going to go with Barca and Olympiacos.
Olympiacos. The 4th one is a super tough one.
I'm not so sure about Partizan, whether I'm putting them in the top 4 or not, but I want to say Maccabi, but again, their circumstances are so tough. Monaco, maybe Monaco.
So we still don't believe in Virtus remaining there, huh?
No, I said top 6, and if you give them that before the season, they would gladly accept it.
Where? Let's take it.
Okay, to me, Madrid, Barcelona, Olympiacos, and Monaco.
Madrid.
Was it the same top 4 last year? Madrid, Barcelona, Olympiacos.
Yeah, it was Final 4. Right.
Final 4, and they all had home court advantage in the playoffs.
Yep.
Wow, I'm so boring.
You just realized it.
Sorry about that.
You said the same things.
Yeah.
I think Real Madrid, Partizan, Barcelona, and I think Virtus stay there.
Okay.
I think Virtus stay there, Olympiacos and Panathinaikos 5 and 6. Although I would really want this matchup in the quarterfinal. Imagine the Greek
derby. So you're
derby.
putting Maccabi and Monaco in the play-in and Fenerbahce as well in the play-in?
No, I'm thinking Panathinaikos and Olympiacos are going to be somewhere near around.
Oh, okay.
I would want to see them got the 4 and 5 matchup
to play the series.
Yeah, but 5 and 6, I think is going to be decided by tiebreakers or by one game. It's all between Olympiacos, Monaco, Fener.
So to me, it kind of. I basically put all the 6 teams in the top 6. So I said my top 4, and then I said that Fenerbahce will avoid the play-in, so I have them, and I said that Virtus will not drop down below 6, so I have them as well.
Okay, so you have Panathinaikos and Maccabi in the play-in.
In the play-in. Bayern Munich as well, instead of Valencia, as I said.
Okay, and Maccabi in the play-in too.
Yeah, Maccabi, I'm so happy that they're winning games, but I'm not sure how sustainable it is.
It is tough for them.
Yeah, and they're winning, like I said, without Wade Baldwin and Lorenzo Brown being as good as they were last year.
Right.
Tamir Blad has been a huge help for them, actually. Anyway, probably it's time to wrap it up.
Yep. I think, so let us know in the comment section down below your opinions about mid-season awards. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, and we'll see you next week with Donatas here back in the studio, or we will have an episode with Eric. Donatas still doesn't know that yet.
You will get an episode, but we're not sure what kind of episode yet.
You will get an episode, so don't worry.
Something will be there on YouTube.
Right.
Definitely.
See you guys next time.